Welcome to National Podcast Post Month here on the Odd Dad Out Podcast. I'm sorry if you're getting tired of hearing this by now. I don't know if this is the first or the 15th time you've heard this, but yeah, you got to get used to it because for all of November, I am foregoing regular format and I am talking to other podcasters, talking about podcasting and because that's what I do. I love talking about podcasting. I love talking to podcasters because podcasters are interesting people. If they weren't, they wouldn't have a podcast. Oh, wait, that doesn't work for me. Never mind. But they're at least interesting enough in their own mind. But yeah, forget that whole don't talk until I'm done with the intro. No, fuck it. I don't care. Today, I have the awesome, the funnier than her shows may imply, because she doesn't do shows that are supposed to be funny. They're a little more serious, kind of. I don't know. No, I'll say it. A Girl in Her Horror is a lot funnier than Some Kind of Brown, but I think it's just that's a much more serious show. But I have Natalie from, like I just said, Some Kind of Brown and A Girl in Her Horror. And at this point, I don't have a flow through of the way to describe your show or shows, however you want to say, whatever you want to preferably pimp out or everything. I don't care. So tell my dear listener, which is like 3 people, five. You and Kate. Tell them, what are your shows about? What do you do? Yeah. Yeah, we can't all just have that, hey, I'm going to tag it true crime and have 5,000 downloads tomorrow. That is surprising. The fact that you are able to like review horror movies, it is like the exact opposite. And I go like, when it comes to horror movie podcasts, I listen to you and I listen to Kim and Kat Stay Alive. And they go through the entire plot, like step for step and spoil the entire thing. And it's hour and a half, 2 hours long. They basically run the entire movie and they play a game. You shrink the entire thing down into 5 minutes. You're like the complete opposite. I was like, yeah, you spoil because you have to, because you can't run through the entire movie in 5 minutes without spoiling something. And come on, it's in the intro, duh. But I love that. It's like, there will be spoilers, duh. that Billie Eilish song, because I hear that. I was like, oh yeah, that's totally where she got this from. I think it's going to be like Taylor Swift trying to put a copyright on, was it These Fat Beats or whatever the hell it was? Or these sick beats. She tried to copyright These Sick Beats or whatever. Yeah, I know. Pretentious ass little priss. But I'm not a huge fan of Taylor Swift. I just think she's one of those like obnoxious, so full of all of the crap. Go away. Ah. Yeah. It's funny. The people who support, it's funny when you see like the people that support the big celebrities like that or like Taylor Swift, the ones who are like diehard supporters are the people who only know her through the music, who they don't want to know any of the personal stuff, or like anybody who supports Ariana Grande. Like, you realize how much of a stuck up bitch she is? It's like, yeah, 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 stuff like that. But yeah, because they're just they've been around the Hollywood and they're surrounded by yes men and people who make their money off of making sure they're happy. It's like, no, you totally need to buy another yacht, or this will be great for your image. And I hate people in the industry, of whatever industry, who are telling you what you should do because it's good for your image, or just handlers are stupid. Yeah. But trying to bring it back around because these are, I know, but so because you do these extreme different sort of shows, what actually got you into listening to podcasts in the first place? Because I know you have a long medical history of issues. And was that kind of part of it, or were you listening to podcasts before you were, without a better word at the moment, disabled? No, I'm yeah, I'm not picking up as a supernatural reference. I do not understand this reference. Yeah, Jesus. I don't know what I'm doing next week. You've got 90 to 100 episode ideas. You've got 2 years of podcast plans. I don't have 2 weeks. And that's a good plan, especially when you know you've got stuff coming up that's going to keep you from recording or whatever. I tried to do that before I went on vacation, and then vacation planning got in the way of podcast prep and stuff. And like, nope, I'm just going to miss a couple weeks. Sorry. Like me, but in a slightly simpler capacity. And let's rewind that for the listeners here. Your reviews are intentionally under 5 minutes by design. Specifically, you state that in the rules in the first episode. So for listeners out there who don't understand the behind the scenes of podcasting, she just said it takes her 10 minutes to record a 5-minute episode. In case you don't realize, there's a lot of work involved in the bullshit that we do out here, out in podcast world. Just, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier to cut out dead air because it's a lot easier to see than if you're just looking at it and it looks like words. When you're looking at a waveform, that looks like words, unless you're one of those crazy people that's been editing podcasts and audio for forever, and you can tell what words look like. And I can identify an depending on like who I'm. Yeah, it's like when I'm looking at like, but your is unique to you. So I have to know I'm looking at your versus I'm looking at Stephanie's And Stephanie's is a lot sharper than your and your breath is a little bit different than hers. And so, but yeah, and it's those things. There's a lot that goes into this. Yeah. When I hear people that do that, I was like, holy crap, you guys record a lot of extra. And I see a lot of it, I think, is just because you'll just basically record, and if there's a mistake or there's something, you just roll through it, right? Yeah. They go further in depth with the story, but you're like, they have that total Hagrid moment. Shouldn't have told you that. Well, I shouldn't have told the mic that. More of that. the Yeah, that's always a fun one. Or like they'll start a sentence, but the sentence doesn't actually finish, and we're like, meanwhile, listeners just, what? Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know how you like. How do you not like? I understand there's the if you do minimal editing and you're just cutting out. It's like if you're not editing for content, and I think that's the big thing. If you're editing for content, then yeah, you got to listen to this stuff, and maybe you have to move this segment here or there or whatever. But I think if you're just like, oh, I need to take out. There's a big empty space here. I need to take that out. Or there's a point where, oh, look, I banged the table, and you can look at the waveform and see there's a problem. And like, yeah, there's a big spike there. Cut off the ends, put in the music, have a nice day. But, you know, when you're doing the detail stuff, yeah, that gets, there's a lot behind this. There's so much work that goes in here, especially when you're doing interviews. That's, yeah. 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 Where you get the situations where somebody like where they fumble over something, but when they correct it, you naturally correct it with an intonation to acknowledge that you're fixing the thing. But when you're editing audio, that means that the correction no longer matches with the original point. And so then you got this uptone. Yeah. And sometimes it's like the flub sounds more natural than trying to fix it. Like, yeah, I'll just leave it. It's like sometimes you mince words, sometimes you fumble over whatever. So yeah. Yeah. You do have a voice that would lend itself to one of those putting people to sleep shows. Like with the right content, I could see your voice being that. I wouldn't say ASMR because I don't really totally understand ASMR, but I could totally see you. Yeah, I was like, I know it's a thing. My understanding of ASMR is my wife watching videos of people cutting sand. So, yeah, the soap videos and the sand videos and all that. Like, I don't get it, but it's like they're using a special knife to cut kinetic sand. It just like, I'm sorry. The closest thing to ASMR for me is watching guys like wood turning on a lathe, and it's like, look, that was a stump. Now it's a bowl. It's impressive. I could. I know. Well, then I get that. I could totally chill. Like I can. That's my ASMR. Is the sound of a lathe. That's it. That's my ASMR. Or there's a blacksmithing channel on YouTube that I follow. The sound of blacksmithing. Totally. Yeah. Just hearing metal on metal and sparks and yeah, totally. That's the closest thing to ASMR. That is probably the most manly thing I will ever say in my life. But like ASMR, blacksmithing ASMR. Yeah, that's it. Yep. When you're tired of waterfalls and I need to make I need to make this now. That's it. Okay. Yeah. feel like it needs to be. Okay. Try to get back onto the questions that I prepared because holy fuck, I have questions. I know I have questions. So we kind of, and I don't remember if you said this before here or you said this when we were talking before, but how many podcasts do you actually listen to regularly? Don't we all? Hmm. Yeah, I use Castbox. Yes, you can. That's impressive. I think somebody through the course of this, I think I'm gonna have to send somebody something for the biggest number. I don't know, like who's got the most number of podcasters subscribed to? Because, like, especially talking to podcasters, we listen to a lot of shit. We listen to a lot of podcasts, and so it ends up with you end up with like 97 podcasters subscribed to. I think I'm in the 80s, and that's after there's some that ended and their feeds died, so I purged them or the stuff like that. Yeah, like I'm not subscribed to Serial. Well, like I listened to it. Okay, bye, it's done. But I don't remember. Yeah, I don't follow true crime at all, so I have no clue what you're talking about. Even if it was like a big case, I don't really follow that. It's like, I don't have the murder news, not big. The only reason I know anything about crap, what's her name? That crazy chick who murdered her boyfriend out here in Phoenix. Um, I only know anything about her because it was out here in Phoenix and the trial was kind of a big pain in the ass because it made a no, Casey Anthony moved out here after uh, the trial. So she lives like everybody out here knows where she lives. She lives out in Maricopa somewhere, and Maricopa is like the Breaking Bad area of Phoenix suburbs. But it's just way out there. But she lives, I think Bristol Palin lives out there too. It's just the middle of fucking nowhere, desert. Like you drive through the desert for 10 minutes and you see this little oasis, and then off to the side is a casino, and then that's Maricopa. So it's not particularly like if ever I have to work out there, it's one of those, we're going to give you an hour of drive time each way because it takes that long to get out there. Yeah, which get those can, yeah. And I used to be a lot more diligent about those, but those get crazy really fast. Yeah, that's basically a podcast that I was going to do. And I was like, well, because I wanted to break off my recommended listening segment and just kind of like, you know what, for people who just want the recommendations, I'm just going to go through and do a formal review of podcasts and kind of break away from I'm not subscribed, or like for my recommendations, they're all shows I'm subscribed to, stuff I thoroughly support. It's all positive stuff. But I was like, you know what, let's expand this and do a whole other show where I'm just doing like more full reviews with the good, the bad, the ugly, and is like, I may not necessarily be subscribed to it, but hey. That too. What bigger void is there than Twitter? Right there, that's when you turn your account private and don't let anybody see it, and just like, nope, I'm gonna look at what I did. Ha 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 ha. And it's gonna stay like that. Or you follow enough people just to get to that number and hold it there. You'd be like that joke with KFC where they only follow 6 guys named Herb and the 5 Spice Girls because 11 it's like, because you know the Colonel's 11 herbs and spices, so they follow 6 guys named Herb and the 5 Spice Girls, and that's it. Because it makes for a great joke. Oh god, Wendy's Twitter is great. There's no competing with Wendy's Twitter. Like what was it during the Chick-fil-A Popeyes feud over chicken sandwiches? And I remember Arby's tweeted out, "Hey, we have chicken sandwiches too," and Wendy's hit him. Who cares? It's like, I'm sorry, I go to Arby's for roast beef, not for chicken or even their turkey. Apparently their turkey's good, and apparently the brisket's good. They have turkey. They have like they have all the meats. They really do. But you go to Arby's for roast beef. I'm sorry. I go there for a beef and cheddar. I want the giant half-pound beef and cheddar and a great big ass thing of curly fries. That's my day. It's like I just spent $15 on fucking sandwich and fries, but you know what? It was damn good. So there. I don't care what other meats they have. I don't care if they have mozzarella sticks and shakes, and they do breakfast. I don't care. Yeah, no, they do all the shit. Really do. But I don't care. I want... You are known for the beef. I want my roast beef and cheddar and my curly fries, and the rest of your menu can go to hell. I don't care. I'm sure there are people that love your Reuben. I'm sure there's people who just love that turkey club, but I am not interested. Yeah, they have chicken and turkey. Yeah, hell, they have fish. I think they have fish. Yeah, I know. I don't totally trust that, but I don't know. Fish in general, I don't eat fish, so it's like whatever. I don't care. Fish as a general thing is a bad idea for me, but that's just me. I don't eat seafood. I know so many people. Or chickens. It's like, oh shit, chickens don't fly. I only eat wild chickens. Medium rare penguin steak. Got it. It's got wings, and it's in the ocean. Bingo. God. Apparently it's illegal to eat penguins, so. Yeah, and apparently they taste like shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Ground. Nah. I don't know how to continue on with our questions. With we went to eating penguins and vegetarians. Like, yep. Oh well. Yep. See, that's the thing. Even when I plan to have questions, fuck the questions because this is more fun.
It's not raining. It's just the roof.
Okay.
Wet and it's dripping.
Where is it dripping?
Outside.
Okay.
Because it is wet.
I know, it's raining.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's done raining?
No.
Okay.
It's still raining.
Okay. Yeah. They just like a report. Yep. Dad, it's raining. I know. I can hear it coming through the window. I had one. It was with Heather from Sunshine and Power Cuts, and we were in the middle of recording, and a hailstorm started on my end, and so I just had all the hail and everything pounding against my window, like to the point where like I had to put it in the intro. It was like, yeah, so right about halfway through this, a hailstorm started, and I really didn't feel like cutting all that out. Who wants to? Yeah. Vegan is a lifestyle. Yeah, I talked about that on the show too. It was that Moby got a vegan for life tattooed on his neck. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, enough. Really? It's right up there with how do you know the vegan in the room? Don't worry, they'll tell you. And it's always the ones that are for a lifestyle. If it's for a dietary, like medical reasons, you have to be. Like my sister had to, I mean, technically not vegan as a lifestyle because that means like clothing and all that stuff too. But dietarily speaking, she had to go vegan for a while because she had what turned out to be like some sort of a stomach cyst or something that if she had animal protein stuff at all, she got really, really sick. And then they found out what it was, surgery, all better. Now she puts away steaks like it's nobody's business. But damn. Yep. Hormones are not fun, and hormonal issues are not fun. I can definitely, my wife has a thyroid problem. Hell, so does our dog. And it's kind of dietarily, they're actually on the same medication. It's really funny. But it's just a different strength, but they're on the exact same medication. It's really funny. But yeah, it totally messes, like dietarily, it really messes with her. It's like, oh yeah, this means that like she can't, certain things mess with her system more than they used to. And like half the thyroid thing, half the medication from the thyroid thing. And yeah, that sucks. No, but it sounds racist. Is it reverse racist? What is that? Yeah. Does chicken count if it's undercooked? It's got to be like boiled chicken or steamed chicken or something. Oh, joy. It's like, you want to know how I learned that? Great, yeah. Help. Help. Help, my girlfriend is dying. I'm something. I don't know. Stress. I mean, but at the same time, when you get stressed and anxiety and stuff, then your brain just gone. So like you could have been you've gone to medical school, just not taken your test, and then you're on the phone with 911 and you're like, there's lots of red stuff on the floor. Fuck, I don't know. I was like, I'm the one over here that's dying. I'm the one that needs the ambulance. Why am I the calm one? Fucking cats. Oh shit. Oh, bitch. Yeah. I mean, it's again, it's the shock thing. Your brain goes, yeah, and yeah, like you don't believe what you're seeing, and it takes your time. It takes your brain a minute to process the holy shit. Am I seeing what I'm seeing? I'm a really convincing liar. Yeah. I'll admit I've had to do that before where like something really like sliced my hand or something, cutting something at work or something, and I like, have to be super calm about it's like, oh yeah, I'm I'm bleeding profusely, and I have to very calmly walk over to the sink and wash and clean it up and get a bandage and do all this stuff so that nobody freaks out. or, stuff like, man, your story is so much worse. My oven story involves me being like 4 years old and helping mom make cookies and not using pot holders. Yeah. I was like, I just go to take the cookies out of the oven, grab the pan barehanded and grabbed it and put it up on the top of the stove. And then them grabbing, like, getting out all of the bandages and stuff because I just grabbed a freaking pan of cookies out of the oven with my bare hands. Well, if I drop them, then we don't have cookies. Like, injuries be damned, I want me some cookies. Yeah, my boys are like that. Anytime I'm cooking, they're right there. And like, no, you can't stand in front of the stove. I have to stand in front of the stove. You can stand next to it. Yep. Oh, no. Ah. I was like, I had a feeling I knew where this was going and I didn't want it to go there. Ah. Yeah. Getting back to podcasting, because we could probably share weird, crazy stories for forever. Eventually, I'm like, I feel like I just need to recycle this later as your big feature guest spot, but I don't know. Save you the trouble, but then it might just be fun to have new conversations. But yeah, that's one of those. I'm outwardly white. My, for all intents and purposes, you cannot look at me or look at my name and tell that I was raised in a Hispanic family. I don't know the white side of my family other than like my immediate family. Like I knew my grandfather, and I've met my dad's brothers and sisters maybe once or twice in my life. I don't know that entire side of the family. I grew up with the great big, there's, my big fat Greek wedding. Well, when my wife and I got married and my grandfather's funeral, I was like, okay, well, now you get to meet my big ass Mexican family. And my generation of cousins, I think there's about 50 of us. And like in the, my wife got introduced to the whole family in one, like we'd been married for just under a year, I think. Yeah, it was just under a year. And she got introduced to the whole family at my grandfather's funeral. And it was just sensory overload for her. Like, oh yeah, there's 130 great grandkids. And yeah. I was like, oh yeah, there's like 30 or 40 grandkids and 130 great grandkids. And there's about 20 great grandkids. And guess what? Everybody's here. And so, that's what so for me, like my family background and my cultural background is in that family. But you look at me and I'm white. And so, but I've never cared. It's never been like, no, I'm just me. And yeah, I believe it or not, I grew up making tortillas with my nana, and all of my family references are in Spanish. And whenever I'm around all of my, like, it's the funniest thing, because most of my generation, we're all half. We're all, like, it seems like all of my aunts and uncles all ended up marrying white people, and so we're all half. All of my cousins. But it's funny because my brothers and sisters, we're the only ones who appear white. Everybody else looks Hispanic. We're all the same generation. We're all half white, half Mexican, but they all look brown. We are all white as fuck. And my sisters are all pale as hell. Like, how is it we're the only ones? Like, none of our cousins, none of them, even the light-skinned ones, still look just like light-skinned Mexicans. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? Out of all of us, we're the only ones like this. The hell, man. I have a press. My press sucks. I need to get a new one because I can't roll. It's funny. I can bake bread and I can roll and hand roll a pizza blindfolded. Yeah, I couldn't. But yeah, so it's going to be fun. But back to but the big one that I end everything on. If you had to recommend one, only one podcast to someone as their very first podcast listening experience, besides yours, because what would it be? I know the name. I have not heard. I guess I'm not a big true crime person. Yeah, cultural differences in different parts of the country are very jarring. Hey, but it's honest. worry about yeah. Sorry, there's a risk of stabbing with this one. Just watch out. Yeah. You got to worry about the quiet ones, is what they say. Like, they seem really nice, and then you pissed her off, and now there's, damn it, what's that song about maiming a truck? I forget. It's like Carrie Underwood or whoever just totally abused her, carved a name and all this. Like, yeah. Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry. But first thing I hear in that song is, bitch, you literally just left evidence. You carved your name into his seats. It was vandalism until you wrote your name on it, idiot. You could have blamed thugs. You kind of have angry chihuahua when you get mad. That's what you're saying. Yep. Patronuses. Like, look, bitch, monarchs are poisonous. Just saying. Yeah, it's like your employer can still say, I don't allow this activity in while you're working. Yeah. I've just draw a big pentagram on her door. That's what you're smelling, bitch. Like, which would you rather have next door, a stoner or a witch? You decide. And that's why you started a horror podcast. Mice are scary. Mice are scary, so yeah. In the right context, that can be terrifying, yes. Yeah. You don't want to hear that coming out of the dark. Yeah. Because they all ran away. They're not going to try and find you. Yeah. Psychological torment. Yay. Yeah. It's like every time I listen to your show, like, that's all I'm going to hear now. I can hear you breathing. Come out to play. And some of those will do it. I'm a horror movie guy, but I'm not one of those like gets freaked out by it. I haven't gotten scared by a horror movie since I was a kid. I thoroughly enjoy them. But yeah, sometimes sometimes the atmosphere is creepier than the movie, but creepy atmosphere works, and you just demonstrated creepy atmosphere. Sometimes it's like different. It depends on the style you're going for. Sometimes gore works, and sometimes you want all the gore. Like slashers, you want all the gore, but if it's supposed to be more of a paranormal psychological thing, you can get away with zero gore and be more terrifying. It's really about like, because there's so much horror and heavy metal go hand in hand, giant blanket category, but then there's a million and one splinter sections, and and they're really like they're related, but they're distant. They're all distant cousins. Which works. Yeah, you haven't done any slashers. You're doing all of the modern horror is much more anxiety and situational. So, but because we've been going on and on and on and on forever, and like I said, we have lives to live. Before we go, one more time, where can all of the people find you out there who want to listen to you and all of the craziness you do, whether it's serious social stuff or silly horror movie critiquing and dismembering? To find them in a dark room and scare them into giving up the name. I'm coming. Yeah, technically. I think that, yeah. I was like, I don't know who did it, but they suddenly gave up their screen name to this girl over here. Natalie, thank you so much for coming on, especially just because we haven't known each other that long, and it was really cool of you to agree to do this and for all of my craziness. And we need to do this again because Yeah, this was fun, and I can only imagine how any of the rest of these are going to go. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on again, because there was just so much fun. There's so much that I just had to leave off. I cannot believe that what I'm giving you is so long. Seriously. But again, you can catch me at odddadoutpodcast.com. Subscribe to the show. Do all the things. Share it. Do all the. I've said it so many times. I'll spare you. But until tomorrow, oddballs, or whenever I manage to get to this, thank you and good night.